I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the Drone Camps channel. I'm Justin Davis, and today we have a new selfie drone in that just came in. It's called the SUNLY Alpha Cam. And why is this one cool? Right out of the gate, I'm getting close to 20 minutes flight time on this battery. So this is extra special because if you know about the other selfie drones on the market, like the DJI Spark, that one's only getting around 12 minutes flight time off that battery. The Unique Breeze is only getting around 10 minutes time. And the Dobby was getting close to 10 minutes. So all those different selfie quads, they don't quite stack up to this SUNLY Alpha Cam. So a very, very nice offering from them. This is around the $300 to $325 mark after you enter in the coupon down below. But let's go through some of the tech inside this quad, and we'll go outside and do a flight test. And I'm gonna give you an honest review of this little Alpha Cam. I like the packaging, first of all. It's pretty cool. It's kind of very Apple computer. We have a quick start guide in this little case right here. I have a charger, I have extra props, and a USB cable for connecting to the quad. But check this out. This is probably one of the coolest things right here. It's the box and the way everything is positioned in here. Pretty simple. And it's easy and small enough that I can stow it inside my backpack and take it on a trip. It's not waterproof. There are holes in here for venting on each side in case it gets a little bit hot. And we have quick release prop guards. For those who like to fly with prop guards, no tools needed right there. That's cool. Thumbs up for that one from SUNLY Tech. So let's check out the quad. Now this is one of the coolest looking little quads recently, little selfie quad. I like the fact that these aren't folding props for some reason. I think these are nice and durable looking. They don't feel very cheap. They don't have a ton of flex. And you also have brushless motors on here. Little mini brushless motors. They look smaller than the DJI Spark motors, but these motors are pretty powerful in my testing. You're gonna see coming up. You also have a 90-degree field of view 4K camera on here. Also shooting stabilized, electronic stabilized video, downsampling to 1080. So what does that mean? It crops in on the 4K in real time and stabilizes the video on the fly. Pretty cool. So you're gonna connect it to your computer with USB cable right here, or you can download the videos to your phone over the Wi-Fi and then hook your phone up to your computer. So either way, you can do that. Now the battery is not an intelligent flight battery that has a push button LED on it. It just simply has a little button, a little port right here to plug in the charger and get your battery charging. But this goes for just under 2 hours on the charger before you can go out and fly. Now the very front of the quad is where the power button is. This is kind of interesting because I looked all over this quad for a power button and I just didn't see it anywhere, and they snuck it in right there with this little silver tab right here. If you press and hold, you'll hear it start up. And then you set it down flat, and you'll hear that familiar startup chime there. Now go ahead and pick up your smartphone. We'll just go into the app real quick. We're gonna go into the settings and we'll go to the Wi-Fi, and you'll hear the rest of that chime. And then you should see Alpha Cam load up with a series of numbers after it. Go ahead and click on that. Enter in the password SUNLY Tech. Now we'll scroll over to the app itself, and the app itself is called Sandy Air. If you're looking for that, if you're typing in SUNLY Tech, it doesn't show up in the App Store. Now what's strange here is I have two different versions of Chinese here with an airplane and just some Chinese on the bottom. The bottom one is your photo and video library. If you go back, you can go into the real-time view. Now this is where it gets pretty cool right here. The real-time view is not too bad. There's a little bit of lag here. I'm just doing an honest review. There is a little bit of lag here, but not too bad. Not as bad as some of the other cheaper selfie drones that I've seen. Now, aside from that, I can turn on and off the GPS up at the top left here. This is pretty cool. So if you're gonna fly indoors, turn off the GPS and use the infrared and optical flow sensors on the bottom to be able to see the ground and hold its position. That's good without GPS. Now if you're outside, you can turn on GPS and you can get up to like 16 to 17 satellites with this. You also have two flight modes on here, landscape mode and selfie mode. You'll see a little tree here, and the next one over is a little smiley face. And if you take off with a smiley face, you want to be facing yourself. If you're taking off in landscape mode, you want to be facing away from yourself. And right in the center of the screen, you have the GPS, whether it's good, bad, or completely off right there on the far left. Right now it's in yellow, so it's showing caution that I'm indoors. It can't make a nice GPS lock. Now, once you make a nice GPS lock, this will turn green, and then you're good to take off because you've recorded the home point. But don't do that until you show a green icon there. It would be nice if they showed how many satellites you're actually connected to. Now, if you push that icon back over to optical flow, you'll see that that lights up. The next icon over lights up green. Now, when I go back to GPS, it's going to go off and turn on to the GPS mode. Also, over to the next one, we have auto takeoff and land is ready. We have the battery level here. I wish that was a little bit bigger, honestly. I'd like to see a percentage, maybe a bar across the screen, kind of like the DJI Spark has. You have your Wi-Fi level there. I'm good to go there. And it shows me that I have a built-in SD card. So the SD card is actually inside this, guys, and that's 16 gigabytes worth of storage. But if you're shooting 1080p, you're going to have plenty hours of flight time and recording time shooting 1080p, so no worries there. You also have two modes for shooting, see, video and photos there, and you can switch back and forth, start and stop video right on the screen there, just like that. And down the bottom, looks like a little airplane. It's kind of funny, but if you click on that, it'll do the auto takeoff, which right now we're not going to take off because we're in the studio. You also have camera settings. You can do burst modes. You can do single shot mode, 3 and 5 shots at a time there. You can do something called beauty mode. You can do defogging, and for video recording, you can change the resolution from 4K, 1080p stabilized, and 720p. Probably gonna get like 4 hours worth of recording time for 720p. Now, just below resolution, you have some general settings here. We have white balance, center, and we have grid lines. You can turn on and off the grid lines, and that's kind of cool. You also can do auto white balance, incandescent, fluorescent, warm fluorescent, daylight, and cloudy. So you have a few different options for white balance in there. I'm just going to leave that set to auto. And for center, we're going to leave that none. You can also do a crosshair, square brackets, or you can change the colors on there. So that's kind of cool. You have different options for finding the center of the screen. So just going to leave that set to default there for mine. Now, up at the top right, if you click that little gear wheel, you have different control modes. You can do touch, which is kind of the original setup. I don't really like that mode. You can do motion, which means you control the drone by the motion of your phone's accelerometer, or you can do joystick on-screen controls with your mode 2 selected, and throttle on the left and roll and pitch on the right. That's how I'm going to leave mine. Now, range comes set down to like 10 meters. You want to turn that all the way up to 60 when you get yours. Return to home altitude, I also set to 20 meters there. The Wi-Fi, you can change from 2.4 to 5 gigahertz. That's really nice. And you can change your Wi-Fi password if you choose to. Now, on the very bottom, you do compass calibration, accelerometer calibration. Do that before you do your first takeoff, and anytime you go to a new location. You can also do firmware updates on here, which is really cool. It'll let you know the firmware needs to be updated when you first turn it on if you have your phone connected to your home's Wi-Fi. Now, also real quickly, I wanted to show you the various different popular selfie drones on the market right now in comparison to the SUNLY Alpha Cam, and check out the size of the DJI Spark next to the Alpha Cam. This is interesting. The Alpha Cam looks a little thinner, and you don't have all those moving gimbal parts like you do on the Spark. So if you crash this one or bump this gimbal, you're probably gonna have to send this in for a repair. Now, the Breeze doesn't have the stabilized gimbal. It has a moving camera up and down, but it's quite a bit bigger, and this one only gets around 10 minutes flight time. This one's around 12 minutes flight time, and this one having the best flight time around 16 to 18 minutes total flight time. So pretty cool. Let's go out to the field now and let's do a little flight test of the Alpha 4K cam. All right, guys, here we are at the field with this little SUNLY Alpha 4K stabilized camera on here. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up by pushing the start button in the very front. And I've already flown this once. We're gonna go ahead and connect it to the Wi-Fi. If you're looking for the Wi-Fi password, I had to go back to the manual and find it originally. Wi-Fi password is SUNLY Tech, just so you know. So go ahead and turn on the Wi-Fi on the phone. There's a little bit of wind out there, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. I'm going to launch the quad facing away from me. I'm connected to the Alpha Cam, so I'm going to go ahead over to the app. And the app, by the way, is called Sandy Air. in the iOS store. It's in Chinese, so I'm gonna click on the airplane there. And now I see a real-time view on my camera of the quad. So let's go ahead and see if we can wait for the satellites to load. And you should see a green light here on the app when the satellites are all loaded. I'm just gonna make my screen a little bit brighter here. I have my brightness down a little bit, so I'll turn it back up. All the way up so I can see a little better. If you have a sunshade, that's gonna be a lot better for you. So it looks like we're good to go on the satellites now. So I'll go ahead and start filming. Right now I'm filming, and at the very bottom, there's a little takeoff. It looks like an airplane taking off, kind of funny. So we'll go ahead and slide to take off. Am I ready? Yes, I am. Here we go. So we'll see how stable it is. It's twitching a little bit. Just gonna get it up and away from me just a little bit here. And it might be overreacting, overcompensating because of the wind, but let's go ahead and see how well it flies in forward flight. Now I'm using these on-screen controls, so my right thumb is gonna give me pitch forward and back, just like that. Left thumb is going to give me height, and it's also going to bring me back down if I want to come back down. So I'll just go forward a little bit, bring the quad up more. The video does look pretty stabilized from what I'm seeing here on the screen. Keep going up there until it reaches its geofence limit. And it looks like right now it's at its geofence limit. So I'll turn to the left a little bit for you guys. I'll show you some of this on-screen video, how well this looks here. And we're going to go ahead and increase the altitude on here. It's set to 20 meters default. We're going to turn that all the way up to 60 meters. And the return altitude I'm going to set to, we'll set that to 20 meters from the original. So now if I go back to the control screen, I should be able to go higher up. Let's see if I can get up there higher. Now, yep, I'm able to get higher now. Pretty cool. Just gonna rotate to the right a little bit. Okay. And let's go up a little higher. I'm in forward flight. Now I'm going to turn back to the left here. And I'm just going to cruise forward again. We'll see how fast it goes. It's actually moving pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second. And well, it really swung back to the left quite fast. Now, if it goes out of range and you lose transmission signal, it should actually come back and land itself. So I'm going to go ahead and point to the other side of the field there and take another ride toward the trees over there. It's really quite fast, actually. I'm impressed with how fast it is. Now, I'm going to turn around. But before I do that, let's go up a little higher. It really does have a nice range. It's way out there. Very nice range. Now I'm going to turn back toward myself. And you know what? Let's go ahead and hit return to home. Let's try an RTL from that far away and see how well this little alpha cam works out in the return to home. Come on back home, baby. GPS lock. See how well you do. It's coming straight at me. And hopefully it doesn't want to hit the Subaru over there. That is my loaner car, by the way. I don't like to drive brand new cars. So here it comes. Don't land on the loaner, please. This is a pretty good test. Now, if it looks like it's going to land on your car or something else around you, all you have to do is hit the X button here on the bottom right hand of the screen, and that'll take you out of that return to home function. So it's coming down quite fast. I'm just going to see if I can spin it or control it. And it actually does look like I can control it. So let's see how close it lands to the landing pad. Landed in the grass, not too bad. Let's go ahead and stop the video. Looks like the app actually crashed, so hopefully it saved that video there. If it didn't save the video, we're just gonna have to take it out on SUNLY Tech. We'll send them a nasty email. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit record again. Taking off for the second time. It looks like I have a little over half the battery left, maybe. And we'll go ahead and do that auto launch. That wasn't too bad of a landing. A little better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm flying in scenery mode again because I'm not really into the selfie mode thing. But if you want to fly it in selfie mode, it's going to help you reverse the directions. So we'll go ahead, come up and get away from the ground a little bit. Ground effects won't be so bad. It is wandering a little bit. If you see it start to wander a toilet bowl in a circle either direction, that means that you need to recalibrate the compass. Right now it is wandering a little bit. It's going to come down, go forward out in the field a little bit. But so far it's a pretty solid flying little quad. It might actually defy me here in a second if I tell it how good it's doing. We'll see about that. Now, some of these other modes on here I'm looking for, it looks like the only other mode available would be the selfie mode. Now, it also has an emergency stop the propellers mode. So on the left-hand bottom of the screen, if you want to do an emergency stop, you can do that. Click that button and you can stop propellers. Make sure you don't do that when you're way out there, but let's check out this little Dps Lock it has going here. This is actually pretty decent. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit. It flies way better than the Dobby, and I think the video is probably gonna be better than the Dobby itself. So we were promised other functions with this quad, like follow me in orbit. And we're gonna see if that is gonna be something they update a little bit later. I don't know if they will or not, but what it has on it right now is actually pretty cool. Just gonna keep going up here, get a little bit of height. I saw some other people reviewing this quad and they actually had some problems with temperature. If you're flying this quad in over 80 degrees, it can have a problem with the image transmission, and it can actually want to shut itself off. So you want to make sure that you're flying in temperatures that are going to be acceptable for the operating range for it. Anything over 85 degrees is going to put this thing in kind of a bad way. I'm going to rotate to the right a little bit here. It's really easy to see in the sky though. No problem. And I'm just gonna hold it there. Maybe go up a little further. I might be at my max ceiling height right there. That's pretty far up there for a selfie drone though. It's actually pretty cool. Gonna do some forward flight here. And now I'm gonna start to come down, bring the drone down. So yeah, right away my first impressions are that this one is definitely flying better, and I have a better range than what I had with the Dobby. And I think the video is gonna turn out a little bit better than what we had with the Zeratech Dobby. So I'm pretty impressed. This one is newer than the Dobby design though, so you kind of expect that for about a year newer. and I'm still working on that descent. It's taking its sweet time to come down, which is kind of a good thing. Come on down, baby. Now the camera is angled at the ground a little bit. It would be nice if I could tilt the camera out straight ahead. That would be nice, but I don't believe I can do that here. Okay, still working on coming down. Let's see if I can bring it back my direction. Now I'm just flying line of sight here with it. Should we try that return to home again and see how close it lands this time? I don't know how close it'll actually land, because it seems like the GPS does need to be recalibrated again. But we'll check that out here in a second. I'll just let it do a solid hover. Bring it up high enough so I can see myself. Hey guys. Pretty cool camera though. And it is shooting in 4K, but it's zoomed in 4K and it's cropping and stabilizing at the same time. So on some of the other drones that I've reviewed on this channel, you can see little black squares pop up in the corner, and that's because it's kind of going outside the crop and revealing some of the black edges of the frame. But I don't believe this drone will actually do that. So this is a little better than what I've seen other selfie drones do. That's pretty cool. And like someone said before, I believe it was Quadcopter 101, give a nod to you about that. This is the poor man's follow me, he said. Just slowly walking and filming yourself. Since we don't have follow me on this quad, we have to do it ourselves. Just, you know, flying with the sticks. Now if you're in selfie mode, that would help you out a little bit if you're trying to do that follow me feature, which would be totally manual follow me. So let's go ahead and hit that return to home button again. Our battery is actually starting to get a little bit low, so here we go. We'll go ahead and one last look at the drone up close. I think it looks super cool, and it hasn't threatened to hit me yet, which is great. There is a little micro SD port on the side, so you can connect this to your computer and download the videos right here. And it does have optical flow and sensors on the bottom of it. You can see that. Okay, let's go ahead and hit return to home. Now it's landing. Okay, we don't want it to do that. We want it to return to home. Two options there, return to home and auto land. So now it's going back up. It's gonna make its trajectory back. It's a cool little quad though. Just don't land on my temporary car here. Okay. Uh-oh, I'm doing some tulip bowling. We're gonna land on, almost on the Subaru. Not good. We don't want that to happen. So remember I said the calibration for the compass needed to be redone. And when it was coming back down, it was doing some serious toilet bowling. So keep that in mind. You know, it's not just this quad that does that. Any quad with GPS can do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do an auto land here, right there beside the flight pad. Now it did tell me on screen here, land now, low battery, please land. And as soon as I hit the ground, the video record button stopped. So hopefully that video is on there as well. But let's go ahead and give a sort of a final overview and opinion of this little quad. I think the design is really, really cool. It fits in this tiny little box that I have over there. Really nice little transport case. It's very simple. Also comes with prop guards and a quick start guide. And it's probably going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes to get this little quad flying. So not a big learning curve there. It's pretty easy to get up in the air and out flying. And it's cool that it's 4K and it's downsampled to 1080. So I think this one is pretty cool. I like the flight time on it. It's better than the Dobby and the DJI Spark. So thumbs up for me on this one, guys. Thanks for watching this one. This one's been the SUNLY Alpha Cam. Pretty cool little selfie quad, selfie drone. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the Drone Camps channel and flying the latest and greatest. Please do subscribe on the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.